Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and the guy you're about to watch, he's the CEO of Anthropic, an AI company. Watch this. This is from today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, what are the latest breakthrough in AI?
Yes, so a few things I could talk about. One is, I think the scaling trends of AI are continuing. So I think we're going to see over the next year, much bigger and more powerful models that are able to do greater tasks. In fact, by the time this podcast airs, a new model will be out from Anthropic that will probably be the most intelligent and powerful model in the world. But one area I'm particularly excited about that we're developing in parallel with that is interpretability of models. The ability to see inside our AI models and see why they make the decisions they make. That area has been mainly a research area for the last few years, and it's just at the beginning of starting to have practical applications. So that's one area I'm very excited about.
Why is that so important?
If you look at what AI models do today, often you won't understand why an AI model does what it does. I was just talking to someone at lunch. Let's say you want, consider your industry. Let's say you want an AI model to be trained on some data, to be able to predict, what happened, with a particular set of financial data. One problem you have with training a model to work on that is that if you train it on data in the past, the model might have memorized it because it was trained on, it basically knows what happens. It knows the future in that case. Interpretability might allow you to tell the difference. Is the model deducing the answer to the question, or is it memorizing the answer to the question?
That's kind of interesting stuff right there. And by the way, my sponsor, link to linqto.com, has Anthropic on the platform right now. There you go. Check this out. Another clip from Charles Payne when he went on the ITM show.
One more point about investing. I know you mentioned gold briefly before, and I know you've spoken about the rise of gold and how it's really telling of what's happening in the world right now. Obviously, a lot of people in my audience are invested in gold. I mean, what's your take on owning precious metals like gold, like silver during these times?
I love it. I really love gold. I prefer physical gold. And so, gold bars, the little slender ones or the coins. I think there's a place in your portfolio. My number had always been 5% of my portfolio. It might go higher, but I've also bought some Bitcoin in the last couple of years. But I do love gold. I think here's the way I put it. Gold is the greatest store of value ever in the history of mankind. People try to make the Bitcoin gold battle. I think Bitcoin has the opportunity to be to outperform all other assets over the next 5 years. But in terms of store of value, when what hits the fan, gold will always be an amazing store of value, and everyone needs to own a certain amount depending on their risk tolerance.
There you go, an adult perspective. Now, Monica Long, president of Ripple, did an interview yesterday, and there are so many clips that we need to show you. There may be a little bit of overlap, but that's okay. You're going to like it.
Of a stable coin, when a lot of people think about the value proposition or the positioning of both XRP and Ripple as a company, and XRP as a core component of the sort of product suite that Ripple offers. They think of it as maybe being almost a competitor or sort of an alternative to a stablecoin. So what was the thinking? What sort of things can stablecoins do that XRP can't, and vice versa?
It's a great question. We think of them as complementary and additive. So I'll take two of the kind of customer sets or audience sets that we talked about, payment companies and then developers. In the context of payments and that part of our business, there are plenty of use cases where for the customer actually seeing the transaction through in US dollars is what the customer wants, or it's just the most cost efficient option. And when you think about major corridors like US dollar, euro, there's a lot of liquidity there. You don't really need a bridge asset like XRP. that was the inventors of the ledger, the way that they'd always talked about. And, when I think back to the very early days of Ripple, what we had always talked about was the use case for a neutral cryptocurrency as a bridge asset. So like XRP in this case would be for in the future of the Internet of Value, there's going to be all kinds of things tokenized on chain. And you need an asset like that for really efficient cross-currency or cross-token settlement it's more the long tail. Let me simplify it. It's more the long tail of assets and currencies where the costs, when you think in the context of cross-border payments, you have different currency crosses between, a sub-Saharan African country and Middle East or Europe. And the liquidity is not as great. The costs are very high. You could pay, north of 10% on that in fees for a payment like that. So that's where we see XRP having its role.
Alrighty, here is another clip.
Country, so we can support, connectivity to payouts in more than 80 markets now, as well as custody as another key infrastructure component, which we've acquired through acquiring the company Medico it was a year ago now, 1 year anniversary. And then also, we've built a bunch of different compliance features in order to serve our payments customers. So how's business today? It's the payments business grows, but then we've identified kind of new opportunities for Ripple to be a holistic enterprise blockchain infrastructure provider. So you think about a financial institution that wants to do payments, or maybe in the future, different types of real world asset tokenization. We can provide that kind of end-to-end infrastructure.
Okay, and I so far I don't think we have any overlaps, but these are all good clips.
Ripple's in a position where we can serve a lot of enterprise use cases for finance. So you can expect us to kind of expand beyond payments as a use case. Secondly, because we were just talking about ETFs, I think it would be very sensible for someone to launch an XRP ETF. XRP has been, trading as within the top 10 for how long? Maybe its entire life. And on the top exchanges like Coinbase and Kraken, it's certainly in the top 5 of daily volume. Oh, the other factor there, because of the court's ruling last year, XRP and Bitcoin are the only 2 crypto assets in the United States with clarity from the government.
The only. See, a lot of people just don't want to say that out loud, but it's true. Here is another clip.
For the XRP Ledger's DEX, the decentralized exchange. There needs to be high quality stable coins available on that exchange for it to be more useful for all types of developers. And we've been more focused on DeFi. So you think about DeFi, USD stables are the key starting ingredient.
All right. I think these are the last 2.
What are the popular corridors?
Popular corridors, a lot of flows in Asia Pac, like Singapore, Europe, Australia. Still plenty of demand driven out of the US dollar. That is, our decision to launch a stablecoin, a US dollar stablecoin more specifically this year. So a lot of the growth has been kind of in those key corridors.
Okay, I think that was the last clip because we already covered this ETF. That's some good stuff. This is the Federal Reserve. There's still that Federal Reserve hack hanging out there. We'll see what happens with that. And then last night, this Jamal Brown, a crypto critic who voted against Fit 21, he just lost in New York's 16th District Democratic primary to George Latimer. Pro-crypto super PAC Fair Shake was behind the $2 million and spend opposing Bowman last week. So it's coming. Now, Gary Gensler has pissed off everybody with his clip here. This This is the full clip, and then I'll show you all the people he pissed off.
As you know, crypto, though, is becoming almost an election issue. There's reports that former President Trump is going to speak at this big Bitcoin conference. He said that he will end, quote, Joe Biden's war on crypto. And there's one more. It's become such a big deal that Mark Cuban has actually said that you, Mr. Gensler, could, quote, literally cost Joe Biden the election. What's your response to this?
I'm going to be easy with you, Maria. I don't speak about elections.
You don't have a
I just do what the politicians tell me to do.
response to Mr. Cuban?
I just really, look,
And you can tell how flustered he is.
As a securities regulator, as chair of this great 5,000 person agency that oversees $120 trillion capital markets.
This little worm has been able, in his entire career, he's been able to slither around, and nobody has ever called him out. For the first time, the crypto industry has called him out and pointed out what he really is, and he can't stand it.
Are here to look out for investors, look out for issuers, and where appropriate, to be a cop on the beat. And we have a set of rules that are pretty clear. There's nothing. I'm
not going to play the full clip because I want to
either in
make
jail,
sure
about to go to jail, or
the first person he pissed off is John Deaton here over this. This is the clip that pissed everybody off.
This is a field that the leading lights from a couple years ago are either in jail, about to go to jail, or waiting extradition. Think about it. This is that field. That's the field right now where the public has really been harmed. And there's significant non-compliance in the field. This is a field that the leading...
So look at this. John Deaton says, as the person who literally sued the SEC on behalf of tens of thousands of small investors, I can state with 100% conviction that Gary Gensler and the SEC has caused more harm to investors than any other person or entity during the last several years. What Gensler fails to disclose is that he personally met twice with the Bernie Madoff of crypto, Sam Bankman-Fried, and has yet to turn over the notes and documents related to those private meetings. Note to Gary, if you think I was a pain in the ass as a private citizen working for free, wait until you see me as a U.S. Senator working on behalf of the American taxpayers. And then here's Brad Garlinghouse, the same clip. He says, absolute nonsense coming from Gary Gensler today. And this slander about all crypto execs going to jail from a man who completely missed FTX and actually cozied up to Sam Bankman-Fried and wasn't even invited to the DOJ announcement about Binance. If he was really working for the American people, as he says, he would have been fired a long time ago. Gensler will cause Biden to lose the election. Then we got Ryan Selkis. Dear Gary, your name comes up in every meeting I'm in recently. The irony is that I too keep using the word jail in those conversations because that's where you're going. The wheels of justice grind slowly, but they are grinding forward click by click. Tick tock, Gary. Look at this. WikiLeaks just deleted over 20,000 leaked Democrat National Committee emails. The deep state did a deal for Assange. Now it makes sense. Now, in DAI XRP, we're going somewhere that we don't go out here. It'll involve the island guy. It'll involve Tether. It'll involve three-letter agencies, all of which we're not going to talk about out here. But I'm going to show you, I happened to find I was looking around and a video just came up, and then that led to several more videos. And I'm going to show you where you can find all the rest of them. But it's creepy, just like I've said for years. I think that there are a handful of people in this industry who are literally either compromised or work for the three-letter agencies, and that a lot of this was done for the purpose of being able to launder money. I include FTX in that batch, and you can see it clear as day if you really want to look. I'm the digital asset, and we're going to show you. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. Well, before we go there, I want to remind you, this was from Eleanor Terrett. Somebody's going around Congress, and they're putting I showed you this yesterday, but I wanted to reiterate it. tetheredtocorruption.com is the website, and they're going around and posting flyers at Congress. And here's the website, okay? So people obviously know what's been going on. I'm going to throw out some of what things people don't talk about out here on social media here in DAI XRP. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family. Here we go.